When people talk, listen, man, I'm going to raise that red flag.
This narrative, especially after 1 year.
1 year.
One bad year. It's one big splash move. And because I don't think people understand how much cap space we can create.
Alex, I want to ask you, because you're a very humble person.
And I'm never going to be right about anything.
Yeah.
I was right.
What up, y'all? I'm back. I actually wasn't planning on doing a show tonight, but so here's what was going on. I'm doing this business deck for the bar. Where I gotta send it to the insurance company so they can, I don't know, they just want to see it, whatever. So I'm fixing it up so I can send it to the insurance company. Yada yada yada. You don't care. But while I'm doing that, I'm having a nice little sip of bourbon, and I'm just going about my night, and I'm listening to all the normal Panthers content creators who I love to listen to, especially in the background. And these are people, man, that I really respect. I really like what they say. And this isn't a knock on them, because it's been happening all day long, because I'm on Twitter quite a bit, so I see all these posts, because the cap went up $25 million this year. And it was so weird how everyone reacted to it. And I must have seen 25 tweets that said, wow, cap went up more than anybody expected. It went up 25 million this year, 53 million over the last 2 years. So you're saying that it went up by less than it did last year? And we're freaking out? It was so... I was just so confused. I was so confused about it. Because if it went up 53 million over 2 years, and then 25 million this year, so let's go 53 minus 25, is $28 million last year. I can't remember one person freaking out last year about cap going up. So it was, I really don't understand how people got so excited or not excited, but it's been running on every show that I've seen. Wow, I mean, the cap went up, so we have more cap to... The cap goes up every year. I mean, it was just... Even if what they're saying is like, I went up 5 million more than we thought it would. The cap's $280 million. You know how much $5 million is? It's nothing. It's like 2%. It's you had a 2% increase in it's insane. Whoa, that's crazy. 25 million, what crazy. I don't know what I'm more upset about it, that people think it's a big deal, or that people are so easily manipulated by the media that they think it's a big deal. I just had a rant on that. It was wild. So while I'm thinking about this, and I try to think about times that I could do shows about cap, because no one understands it. No one understands it at all. And I'm not lecturing, because I don't even understand it. I understand it significantly better than anybody else I know that doesn't work in analytics. But me and Brant Tillis having a conversation, I would, no one, are you kidding me? I would look like the dumbest guy in the world talking to him about cap. But every single year, we do the same exact thing. We go, oh no, we only have $9 million in cap space. How are we going to do anything? Every single year. I can't. And I went on. Me and Ricky were doing a show, and I went every single week. I was like, guys, we have cap space. We're gonna sign a lot of free agents. We're gonna put out big deals this year. And I said it over and over, and like nobody believed me, I guess. And then we signed Robert Hunt, Lewis, A'Shaun Robinson, Jadeveon Clowney. Like I was like, yeah, duh. I've been telling you guys this, but it's so hard to make it interesting, I guess. That it's hard to make it interesting. So I'm going to try to simplify it as much as I possibly can. Because I think it's important, so mostly for my sanity, because I don't want to see it every time I look around. So I could like to show you like the very small thing that people are missing about, like the smallest thing. Like I'm going to talk to you about like something like obviously small, just so to give you a different perspective, so your people aren't constantly buying into this. Well, I mean, we're not going to be getting any free agents in because, we only have $23 million in cap, and you can barely sign in. T. Higgins is going to make more than that, and T. Higgins make $30 million, and we only have 23, so we can't do it. It's like, it's the most asinine thing. Like it's somebody's just jump in, right? The key thing that we need to look at. And this is the thing that is missed more than anything else when people are talking about cap. You don't talk about just this year. You gotta look at the next 2 years minimum. Because that's the cap. Like, that's your cap. The cap isn't this year's cap. The cap is the cap over the years. And you're pulling cap. You gotta keep yourself as malleable as possible, basically. So you structure contracts. So when they're structuring contracts, when like Tillis is structuring a contract, he's structuring it so you're building this roster based on people you have signed through this many years and what you might need to do in 2027. That's how complicated it gets. So this is what I'm saying is super elementary. But what the national media and what people on Twitter are saying is like preschool. Like I mean, I'm trying to be like a jerk, but we do it every single year. We had like $9 million in cap space last year, and somehow signed a $100 million deal to Robert Hunt. That's another thing. It's not $100 million just because it can be $100 million. Most guys never even sniff that. It's just so, because people always do these simple math. It's like $100 million, so we got to pay this guy this much per year, and that's gonna hurt our cap space down the road. And it's like, so just because like people like to hear big numbers and be wowed and all this stuff, it's like, anyway. So let's break it down now. All right. I'm gonna drink whiskey and settle down a little bit. Okay. So we have $23 million in cap space, right? And I mean, anybody that's listening to me probably has seen this a million times everywhere, because I've seen it a million times everywhere. So I'm just gonna go with it. I haven't even like kind of looked at it in a little while, because it's not going anywhere. We can't start signing players until March 4th or something. But I saw it over Twitter today, so I'm just gonna go with it. And I actually did look at it today. So it's $23 million, about, because we still don't have the definite cap. So let's say that the cap is $280 million. Let's say the cap is $280 million, because that's kind of like around what people are saying. And our cap that we have allowances to are $257 million. So let's do the math. 280 minus 257 is 23, so we have 23 million. Well, everyone thinks we're cutting Tuttle, right? So that's an extra $3 million in cap space we have, but we cut Tuttle. Everybody thinks we're cutting Sanders, right? So that's an extra $3 million in cap space for Sanders. So we have 29 million now. I think we should cut Dane Jackson. I'm just going to put that in there because he's not worth the minimum contract if he's not going to play any games. So it's definitely not worth the $5 million that Morgan gave him. So that's going to give us $2.5 million back. So now we're at 31.5. And this is key because I'm pretty sure we're going to extend J.C. Horn. At open market, we already have this contract. He's going to get just about the same as Derek Brown, which was a 4-year, $96 million contract. What's great about this is I already have an example of it. It already exists. So J.C. Horn is about a $12 million cap hit, right? In Derek Brown's first year of his new contract, his extension, he got his cap hit was $6 million, right? So because he was a 5th-year option too. So I'm gonna say Horn a $6 million cap hit. So that's 12 to 6. So that frees up $6 million in cap space. I don't even need to go into the nuances of it because it already happened. It happened last year. And this is around the same exact contract. So I'm just going to do the same contract to make it as simple as possible. So Horn's extension takes his $12 million cap hit down to $6 million. So that adds $6 million, right? So with all that, just that, there's no restructuring. I haven't touched anybody else's contract. There's no kicking cans down the road. I know everybody wants to use that term, but it's nonsense. I mean, it's not nonsense because it is important, but it's just so complicated that just don't simplify it that way. So with Tuttle, Sanders, Dane Jackson, and Horn restructure, with Tuttle, Sanders, Jackson, and Horn extension, that's 4 things. Just 4 things. I just added $14.5 million in cap space. I added over 50% to our cap, and I just did 4 things that we're 90% likely to do. So now that we're at $37.5 million, and I'm just going to say that's our cap. I'm just going to throw it away. That's our cap. Right? So we probably, it's so hard to come up because I don't know what we're going to do. But let's say about, how much do I want to It's going to be way less than this, but let's just say $5 million goes to our draft. That's cap space. That's not like what we're paying them. That's around what you pay who you draft if you have all your draft picks. It's usually about $3.5 million because you give them all signing bonuses, which brings your cap down for the first year, yada, yada, yada. So let's say after we have all our draft picks, we're around 32.5. So just take $5 million off. And that's generous. It's gonna be less than that. It's probably gonna be 4 because we have like 12 picks or something. We have 9 picks, right? So it's gonna be a little bit more. So we're probably about $4 million. So $4 million is so just $5 million. So we're at 32.5 now, right? Here is the key. Next year we have about $160 million in cap space. The following year, we're gonna have somewhere around $250 million in cap space. Those are the numbers you have to look at. When I say like they've cleaned their dead cap for years, that's what's so important. That's where the cap space comes from. Your first year of any contract is always going to be super low because you're giving signing bonuses. And that signing bonus takes away a lot from the first year base salary, and it spreads it over the time of the contract. That's very, very important. So anytime you think about cap, never think about the cap you have that year. Just don't. If somebody says we have $23 million in cap space, just say, no, we got $167 million in cap space. Because that's what matters. The following year is what matters, not this year. Always remember that. Never, ever, especially when you're talking to me, say, but Alex, we only have 23 million cap space. Just don't. It's not true. So, what's great about this is I have contracts already done, so I don't have to really explain them, which I hope will make it easier for whoever's listening to understand. So we say, all these reports come out that T. Higgins wants $30 million, right? He's going to get more than that, I think. I think he'll get 32, 33. But everybody thinks he's going to get $30 million. Well, what's really great is we just had a guy last year that signed a 4-year, $120 million contract. His name was Brandon Ayuk. And we have that contract. So let's just use that contract. So he got a 4-year, $120 million contract, 76 guaranteed, and $23 million at signing. Well, here's what's gonna happen. Or here's what I actually shouldn't use this because 49ers have one of the best GMs in the league and they backloaded it and whatever. They backloaded the contract. So I'm just gonna use it regardless. So they spread the $23 million over 5 years. So that's about $5 billion per year that you're spreading over, right? And you're taking that 23 from the 30 a year, which leaves $7 million, right? So it should have been $7 million, but they pushed it back and they backloaded it. So we're just gonna do what they did because they're a good organization and we want to be a good organization. So they gave him a base salary this year of $1 million plus the 5 that comes from the signing bonus, but he doesn't care. He's getting 123. So his first year is $24 million because he was on the 5th year option. He was only gonna get $12 million anyways. So he's going from 12 to 24. He's not pissed, and the Niners knew that, and that's where the negotiations came in. That's why it took so long. So Brandon Ayuk's cap for this year was $6 million. So here, I wish I had like the little ching ching sign, or the little ching ching, like a like a cash register. So we're gonna go ching ching and take that 32.5 that we have, and we're gonna say, because we're signing T. Higgins, right? We're signing T. Higgins. That's our dream, right? We're signing T. Higgins. He's gonna be a $6 million cap hit the first year. So we say ching, and we go -6, and now we're left with 26.5. So then we look at the next year because that's what the real cap is, and it's only $12 million because they're giving him $7 million in his second year. So then it spreads from the $5 million. So everything's backloaded. So he has $12 million. So from our 167, we're going to say minus 12. And then his third year, he has a $16 million cap hit. And so we're going to take our 250, ching ching, minus 16, and we're at 234. So we're using every year, all the next 3 years. So we still have 26.5 in cap space. Now, we have a little guy named Josh Sweat that we really want. They're saying that he's going to make $20 million a year. Perfect. We just had one of those contracts. We signed Robert Hunt to $20 million a year. So, since we already have it, let's use it. So, it was a 5-year, $100 million contract, 44 guaranteed, and 26.5 at signing bonus. So, what do? Take the 26.5, and we subtract it from 20, which you can't do. So we only take 19. And then we have this other little 7.5 floating around. So we take it from the following year. It's great. It's great for us. So all this stuff he's getting a signing. He has a $1 million contract this year. Plus his 5 that's goes over all 5 years. And we have a $6.5 million cap hit this year. So we go ching, 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 ching. From our cap, we have 26.5 minus 6.5. We have $20 million left in cap space this year. His second year cap hit is 21.5. So we go to our next year's cap, which was at 155 after our T. Higgins money. And so we say 155 minus 21.5. And we're looking at 1,335 that we have left for next year's cap. And then in the following year, in 2026, we're taking from our 234 that we have left over from the T. Higgins, and we say minus 24. So we're still at 210 for the following year. Cool. So then, let's just say we went Milton Williams. I'm just going the people that everybody wants, right? I'm just taking these best guys that we can't afford. I'm just saying, people say we can't afford them. I'm saying we can't afford them. So he wants around $15 million a year. So I'm going to use our Damian Lewis contract, which was $13.5 million a year, because I have it. So, and I've already walked you through signing bonus. If you ever have a question about it, just ask me. But I'm just gonna go. I just want to make this as quick as possible. I think that I've kind of set it up enough so you understand that year one's always going to be lower. So I'm just going to go how the cap hit goes with these contracts. So Damian Lewis' first year cap hit is $5 million. His second year is $15 million, and then we can cut him. So we don't even have to. That doesn't even count. We can decide if we want him or not the following year. So we don't have to go to the first 2 years. So we go to our $20 million that we have left. We go ching, 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 ching. Take $5 million away. We have $15 million left in cap space. And then we take $15 million away from our 133. And looky there, we have 118.5. Right? For next year. So now we've signed T. Higgins, Josh Sweat, and Milton Williams, and we still have $15 million in cap space. Cool. Let's go get Javon Holland. He wants around $20 million a year. I'm going to give him the Taylor Moton contract, because Taylor Moton's contract was 4 years, $72 million, which is $18 million a year, because I have it. I'm going to use it. So, backloaded that one. $43 million guaranteed, and only $12 million signing. I mean, you're not looking at this paper, so I'll manipulate it, because we're going to give him more at signing. Let's just take that to $20 million at signing. So it's 4 years, 20 divided by 4. That's going to be $5 million a year that we're going to give him. it'll go more complicated. But let's just say let's just say that's it. Let's just say we're going to do that. So it's supposed to be $4 million because that's what Moten's first year was a $4 million cap hit. But now because I changed the signing bonus, it's going to be $6 million, which means that this is going to change to $10 million the second year. And then he has it out after 2 years because most of these contracts do. So we're going to go to our $15 million and say minus 6, so $9 million, and $10 million from the next year. So I've just signed T. Higgins, Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, and Javon Holland, who are our dream guys, right? That's what everybody wants here within Panther Nation. I didn't do hardly anything. I cut 3 guys and I extended Horn. We're going to do way more than that. We're going to cut way more people. We're going to restructure. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. I did 4 things. And I got us to 37.5 in cap space. I signed 4 huge names. I still have $9 million in cap space and $118 million next year. And that includes, I've already paid my draft picks. That's cap. So if anyone's listening to this and ever hears somebody say, "Oh, but we can't sign Higgins because we only have $23 million in cap," say, "Shut up." Say, "Shut up," because it's just so stupid. We do it. We see the Saints sign people every year. Like, how do they do it? Now the Saints are like they did it. They were very risky. They were very what's it called? They did. I can't even think of what I'm trying to say. They weren't very responsible. So that's a bad excuse too. But how does the Eagles bring in all these big? How did the Dolphins do it? How did the 49ers do it? They're really good at it. Watching what Howie Roseman does with Cat. It's fascinating. If you ever get into it, I mean, it's really cool to watch some of these contracts that these big time GMs make, which is a really good thing that we split GM into 2 parts because it's such a big, I like me just telling you this. This is like 1% of what it is. This is like the basics. This is kindergarten, and people that talk about cap on media are like toddlers. It really is frustrating to listen to, and I try not to talk about it because then I have to explain it. I got to do math, whatever. But I hope you followed along. I hope it was somewhat entertaining. I hope it wasn't just me bitching about things, but I hope it was educational for you guys. And if you want to pick my brain some more, I'm really not. I'm good for someone that doesn't do it, but it's complicated. Just don't talk about it. It's just complicated. It's so complicated that anybody says, "Well, we can't do this because of cap." It's just, yeah, you usually can. You can usually make it. You can you can almost always do anything you want to do. And if you don't know anything about this year's cap, then don't talk about keeping carries on the line because you don't know about that either. And I'm not trying to lecture you as in you. I'm saying an understood you. It's not even called an understood you. It's a royal you. I don't even want to think about that anymore. Okay, well that's it. Thanks for listening, y'all. Peace.